Gravy, baby.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gravy Baby. Gravy Baby. I'm not in studio. I'm in Indiana.
But
I know. It is supposed to see all the green. That's about it. But luckily, I'm in the college town of Indiana. As progressive as it's gonna get. This is probably the closest it's gonna get to progressive. Is
we're talking about
Bloomington, Indiana.
Bloomington's rad, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is.
Yeah, I've only ever been here once, and it was March 13th, 2020. So I never really got to. I stayed in my hotel room the whole time. It was the beginning of the end, the big change.
Yeah, man. I could think of worse things to quarantine, I guess. Worse places, I mean.
Sure. Well, at that time we didn't know. That was like the last weekend before everything shut down. So.
Yeah.
After this.
I remember we were in Raleigh the next weekend, and it shut down while we were on the way. So I landed in Raleigh, but the show was canceled. And I'll never forget, me and Corey were at a bar. The bar was still open. We were like, should we be at a bar? And this guy overheard us talking to somebody about canceling our shows and came up to us and gave us his card. His name was Jeff Dye. And he couldn't believe that we didn't care that his name was Jeff Dye.
Okay.
Wait, is it the comedian Jeff Dye or just some guy named Jeff Dye?
No, a guy who just happens to have that name. And he was like incensed that we reacted the way you two just did. Because he was like, no, you don't get it, dude. That's also his name. And we were like, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I don't want to start throwing shade. But that guy's incorrect. Who gives a shit?
Nah, dude, even if it was my favorite comedian ever, people have same names. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
There's only so many names. And it's Jeff Dye.
Yeah. Jeff is also like a super common name as it is.
White name.
Yeah. I don't know how common Dye is, but Jeff's pretty goddamn common.
Anyway. When's your show?
Yeah, so
it'll come out soon.
I haven't. My first one is about to happen in a few hours. So, this was one of those cases where they're just Thursday, Friday. There are festival shows Saturday, but it's a festival. It's Limestone, so it's
Limestone's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So it's just Thursday. I have one show Thursday, 2 Saturday. But I'm pretty stoked about it. There's some kids I actually like here, and that's nice, that are in the festival. And one out of Atlanta, I think Tamar. We're hanging out with Tamar. Super cool. And it's like, a cute little, close to the little downtown area. So I love a cute little downtown. That's one of the reasons I love Bristol, is I love a cute little downtown area. Is they got some old shit for me to look at, some, artisanal cookies or some shit that's like, oh, look, I did it, Mom. I made my own business. I love that shit. So I wasn't trying to sound condescending when I did that, but that's usually what it is a young person who started a business. Sometimes it's an old person, but
hell yeah, dude. Tell Tamara I said what's up.
I will.
Love that city. I feel like I love that festival. I'm a fan of their work. Everybody go see Carmen. You still have time. If you hear this right now, you can see 2 shows to Carmen and a rad festival.
Yeah. The drama of it, I guess I should tell you, is somebody got in a little trouble and a lady comedian backed out. And I am filling in for that lady comedian.
Ooh. Can you tell us more, or is that all you can tell us?
Oh, no. There's articles you can read about it if you want to. There's, this is the thing. I don't know. Why did I bring this up? The owner of the comedy, I'm so sorry. This is such comedy drama. I should not have done this on here. The club owner cheated on his wife with an open mic host. Now, to make it sound less salacious, they're both in their 50s. They're both married. They both have kids. So it's a very messy situation, but they're trying to spin it.
Are you kidding me? That's more salad.
You both are salivating. I could see it. But so it happened real recently, and he pulled out of the club. He pulled out of the thing. I mean, he's always been that dude.
Open micer, am I right, Carmen?
Yeah. Killed it. But yeah,
So wait,
yeah.
is that
So
it?
I guess
This cheating?
yeah. Well, now because they try to spin it into something else, because this club has always been a club that books women, a club, he's always been like a progressive. So they're trying to spin it like this is Louis all over again, Louis C.K. for those who don't give a shit about comedy. And so they're like, oh, see, he was like, but what people don't know is the dude is on the spectrum, and all of the complaints that they're having is very he doesn't know how to read the room stuff. So to me, that's not predatory. That's,
So
you know what I'm saying?
after the cheating came out, then other people were like, okay,
Yes,
I'm
of
always
course.
gonna say
Then
this,
the
and you
rumor
did
mill
this weird
started,
thing.
and then and a bunch of people started, and it was all local because I found out about it from the infamous lady text thread where it's a bunch of female comedians. It's probably about like 25 to 30 deep, but most of them don't talk all the time. And it came up, and it was fine for me. It was nice for me to find it because I found out from somebody from here, so I was ahead of it before there was an article or anything like that. So I had the drama first. I got to spill the tea finally, because normally I find out the tea from there, but I got to spill some, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" And then and there's probably like 20 of them are headliners. That most of them have worked this club. All anybody said was like, "Yeah, I hated that he didn't know to leave us alone in the green room. I hated that he always played sports. I hate that he like he tried to hug me goodbye or something like that." And it was just all stuff like that. It's all read the room stuff. I hug everybody, whether they wanted to or not. I've definitely hugged somebody when they didn't want to be hugged, for sure. But because I'm not a dude, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was just those things. It was
Sure.
never anything.
Sure. Well, your instinct, I think, is right to kind of let's pull back and who cares about Indiana comedian drama. But I would like to ask you both. I do think there's this understandably there's a stigma with cheating on your spouse, but there does seem to be like it's not even cancel
Well, that ain't
culture.
got shit to do with women.
It's before cancel culture, right? There's just before cancel culture. Here's an example. Justin Towns Earl and Jason Isbell had a falling out before he passed or whatever. A woman cheated on him, and then he expected Jason Isbell to stop working with that woman, and he didn't. And so I don't know, what's y'all's thoughts? Look, there's people in my life, right? If someone broke one of y'all's hearts, I'd be fucking done with that person. But then there's a circle outside of that where it's yeah, I don't know, man. Feels like it's none of anyone's business. But do you guys share that? Am I wrong? It seems like some people take cheating so seriously that they're and now it's they found out you committed a crime. You know what I mean? They're almost
Yes.
It's almost the level of stigma of being arrested, which obviously for me, unless it's child porn or rape, I still don't give a fuck. But it's weird that people elevate it that high. To me, what do you guys think?
DJ?
Yes.
So does that mean how much it's based on how much money you'd be making working with that person?
I mean, dude, I don't know. Like I said, if it was a close friend, but if it's just somebody I didn't know, I don't give a fuck. I don't even want to know. Why are you writing a story about that? Why is that in the newspaper? Why
Well, now
am I
they're trying to
involved?
spin it like he's some sort of he's been trying to, because it was a female comedian. They're trying to spin it.
Giving a hug, we've gone way out of. We've
I thought so too.
Well, not only that, but the publication itself that is doing the story has been sued several times because of slander and libel. Like they're a rumor mill, local paper, and so that's who's doing the article. So now there's getting more eyes on it. And like so somebody, and there's even a local person who is going by like comedy fan at bloomingtoncomedy.com or something like that, who is emailing people in Los Angeles, emailing industry to be like, don't associate with this because of this happening. So they're trying to make it into something, right? And what I said, just one thing before you say your thing, do you know who people represent as far as quote unquote Hollywood to act like to act like WME is gonna give a shit, to act like Gersh is gonna give a fuck? I mean, David, that's where David Becky lives, dog. David Becky is the king of all evil, man.
Yeah, true. David, if you're listening, call me. He's definitely evil. And so on that note, this is something I would like to say to people about comedy world and probably Hollywood in general. People go, damn, how did this Weinstein thing happen? How did this Louis thing happen? And people correctly point out that when people get to a certain level of power, everyone just kind of lets them do whatever they want. It's extremely problematic. All those things are true. But it's also sometimes when stuff comes out, there is a little bit of balance or whatever where you go, yeah, but also there's a billion bitter people who spend their days making up emails, new email names, comedy fan in Bloomington, and then emailing, just like John at Gersh, Billy at Gersh, this random emails trying to get people.
Yeah.
And it's strange.
It's to me, it's pretty, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's pretty awful. And also just like, I don't know if maybe they're trying to make this drama big so people care about this place more. You know?
It's a kayfabe.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to wrap my head around to understand a person who would want to do that.
Your instinct is correct. Here's my theory immediately. It's not a conscious, how do we put Bloomington comedy on the map? It's a subconscious, like, we live in Bloomington, and on some level I'm aware that no one gives a fuck. Mm-hmm. But I'm online following all these people who I want to be like at the store, at the cellar, and there's constantly New York and LA drama being worked out on social media. Top end Dalia, Louis, but there's constantly smaller stuff that, like, dude, Segura and Christina P had a fake thing where they kind of pretended like she had cheated with Theo Vaughn just to, like, and one of my friends was telling me about this. I was just disgusted that they did it. My point is, someone in Bloomington is doing all that, and they're just like, they're a hack. They're a hack person. They're copying other people's jokes, and now they're copying other
or they're a young comic, who never got to work the club, and so this is their way of getting back, getting back to power. Like, maybe they think they're righteous, maybe they think that they're but as a person who's seen predatory behavior and who has a nose for it, who stopped doing roast battle because I didn't want to associate with fucking predatory behavior, who didn't associate with things that could have been very, like, beneficial to my career because of that, for you to be like, dog, this ain't got shit to do with you. And to go back to the cheating thing, when a dude cheated on me, there's a dude that when he cheated on me that still won't get booked in places in Los Angeles because of that, because they were like, fuck that guy, which was, to me, was a testament how much you can. I didn't ask anybody to do that. I never got mad about it because I didn't want that. I didn't want any of that. That's always why I try to keep my shit. But I was just so mad. So I started making jokes about it. And then they were like, that fucking guy? And I was like, yeah, can you believe it? The ugly narcissist, the balls, right? And so it was like one of those things. And then they're like, he's never allowed on my fucking stage. I'll tell you that right now. And then I saw her years later, and this is like 4 years. I saw her like last year. She goes, I want you to know that motherfucker's still not allowed to do my show. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. I mean, it's been 3 dudes since then, but thank you so much, I guess.
That's got to be wild as a woman to be like, so you'll protect the guy who cheated on me, but you protect me, well, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, and then not the actual predators. Well,
Well, I mean,
let's
she
pull out a
probably didn't. She
comedy.
doesn't have power. It's a bar show, and
Right.
and there's a couple of them because I don't see, I don't ever see his name around town anymore. So
Well, suffice to say, that drama is why Carmen is in Bloomington, Indiana this weekend. You can go see her in 2 shows as part of the Limestone Comedy Festival. She is the I don't work with cheater / maybe predator replacement.
but it was just the woman quit because of the optics. That's what she was like. I don't like how this looks.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Oh, yeah. If I sounded like I just didn't know how to frame it. I'm not mad at the woman for pulling out. It's like, hey, you want to go to Bloomington, Indiana? I was already 50-50. You know what I mean? So there's some people
It was
are just
also,
like,
once they told me how much they were gonna pay me, I was like, oh, she must have been a rich kid because I'm doing the festival, dog.
Right.
You ain't replacing this bitch. You're not like replacing somebody with another woman. Come on, bro. Get out of here.
Yeah. I was like, I will let him hug me for that amount of money on stage.
I'll hug him. Thanks for having me, dog. Well, actually, the one who's the real victim here is his wife. His wife is who now didn't ask to, but now she's running the club, who now is part of a festival that she had nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like she's now. Yeah, he pulled himself out of all of it to be
Let's
respectful.
pull
He was like,
because it's getting too in the weeds. But wow, I'm so glad you went, Carmen.
yeah. He was like, he's like, I understand if people would want to be upset with me. I don't want to be associated with the club anymore. I totally understand. And I don't want to be part of the festival. I don't want people to think that this is what this festival is. That it was one of those things. To me, it felt like an Al Franken situation. That's what it felt like.
Well, damn.
So yeah, come see me. That's been the drama. Is there anything cool that's happened to you guys at all this week? DJ, you say stuff. I've been talking this whole time. And why won't you weigh in on this stuff?
I didn't.
Because here's the thing, and I do want to say this disclaimer because we do have a lot of women that listen. If this was predatory, please know that I would not be here.
Everybody knows. Everybody listening
Okay.
right now knows. And they know exactly what you're saying. And also, I should have let you finish that last point. I was cutting you off because we were getting so in the weeds. But obviously, the most important part is like the woman who got cheated on still needs to make money.
Yes.
DJ,
I'm on Dana's side.
Oh, we accidentally dropped the name. Mark, can you cut that out? I'm kidding. It's in a
There's an article already, so.
There's an article. DJ, what did you do this week?
Oh, tell us about campathon.
Okay. Yeah, it was cool, man. Had some cool conversations. Hung out. There's quite a pivot here. It was nice. I mean,
You kind of went from hermit, like farmer, not hermit, but you know what I'm saying. You live on a farm. It's pretty big. It's you, your dog, your lady.
I'm a hermit. My social
then, like,
battery.
That's what I wanted to ask about. Yeah.
Yeah, my social battery is gone. It's out. It's done. I'm like still recovering. And like I don't do drugs. You know what I'm saying? I don't do drugs with people. With other people, a few, but like not mainly. So there's this weird thing that I like realized. Like in fact, I felt like a week of like observation, like because like when you're on drugs or you're like drinking and you say something weird, you just be like, he was high, it was a drug. But when you do it when you're sober, like, nah, he's just weird. That guy's weird. That guy's a weird, I'm weird. I'm weird.
Yeah.
Why did I say that? Why did you know why I said that? Because I'm fucking weird. I'm a weird guy.
Yeah.
And,
The next day, wake up like, I can't believe I said that. You're saying you had to live it in real time. You didn't even put it all off.
yeah, just as soon as it comes out of my mouth, it's just like, well, I'm just nobody wants to. Also, really, dude, this is what's been tripping me out. Also about it, and like I said, it was a good time, dude. Saw some great music, had some really great conversations. So the weird thing is, you guys can ever get to like this say we like start having like a conversation, and like the conversation just kind of continues and continues and continues, and you're like, why is it's weird. It's not weird that everybody would be talking about basically the same things, politics, whatever. But like the specific things that you were talking about, like you start hearing them all around you, and you're like, okay, nobody was talking about this, like not that I know of, like this specifically. But like now I'm hearing like the same kind of like the same conversations being had in different podcasts on different things. It's just weird. Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
Could you give us an example?
Well, I can give you one that's not politics. It has to do with like diet fads. I'd never heard of carb cycling, and then I heard it like 75 times in 2 months, and now it's gone again. So like when it's politics, it's even bigger than that.
Oh, so like when tariffs came in and came out, and like eggs comes in and comes out, you talking about shit like that, or like?
Well, this is mainly kind of like, there's this term for it that I didn't know that we were talking about, but we're basically talking about necropolitics, which is basically the politics of who gets to live and who gets to die. And then there's this like great equalizer in nature and what's going on right now, and the fundamental, just the way that like we're moving forward into this land where it's like into this place and into this mindset of like, well, all these things that like this in our peripheral doesn't really, is not really matters. The only thing that really matters right now is that like we continue to take care of ourselves and take care of our community, and this is like goes into like medical stuff and like places like that and stuff like that, and, like how these things are run, and like, you know what I mean?
I think it might be niche to the group of people you're around. Are you talking about like suddenly everyone's talking about essentially survival?
Well, not just survival, but like survival in the thing that we've come into this point where it's like they're talking about it on the Trillbillies, just for an example. It's something that we were talking about. We were talking about the storms in St. Louis and the storms in Kentucky, and about how bad it's been up here, and like how we're just kind of like everybody's just kind of waiting to get yeeted out into the ether and then like have no help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like at that point, when there's no resources for you to like back up, there's no food pantries, there's no medical help, you know what I'm saying? Like we really entered into a politics of like, you know, the dividing line of like
who gets aid and who doesn't.
Yeah, right.
So now you're putting, and it's probably pulling people who might have been a little bit more conservative into the concept of mutual aid and stuff like that, because they're being forced to, because they're being neglected.
Yeah. Again, climate is the one great equalizer of us all, and what's happening now. And there's not going to be, once you lose all your shit is fucking gone. Yeah. When they, you know, when they criminalize homelessness, and there's no food pantry, there's nowhere to go, and there's nothing. And that, you know what I'm saying? And all your shit's gone, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the move? And the move is like this weird, like noticing that people are becoming very much like community minded and like aware, like super aware, like ultra aware of their community.
That, and also there was another article that kept circulating around, and like it was going through the I guess the blue sky verse, since like Twitter doesn't even function anymore. X doesn't even function anymore. Was the 3E article about like the auto genocide, about like basically everything without us basically trying to make you like criminalizing homelessness, climate change, the constant barrage of bad information, no health care, all of those things are basically for you to basically to make people implode is the concept of it. and it's like all of this stuff. So then you're gonna be just a shell of a person, so they're then easily manageable.
Well, it seems like the opposite is happening, like in a very real
That's
way.
what my first thought.
Yeah, it seems like the opposite.
Like, what a gamble they took if that was the goal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
It seems
people
like
will
the-
organize if they're forced to. That's what I'm saying. Like if you have no home, you only have it has to take a village. When you don't have any other resources, you're
Right.
forced for it to be a
Right.
village. You know what I'm saying? And we've been saying that people should be doing that willingly for the longest time to be preventative. But now I mean, and sometimes it takes people being forced into it to do that. So if they think that but I mean, I think that's happening. The other concept is the one from the 3E article was like, it's about, I think that's more people in a city. It's way harder to organize because there's less land. You know, there might be more people, but there's less land, there's less access to places to grow food, all this stuff. Like that's why when I was talking about the dude who's growing food in Inglewood, like it took him years to be able to acquire enough land to be able to have enough space to grow. He's growing up, not out. He's growing you know, vertically. He's building up like a building, but of vegetables and crops and shit like that. So I feel like if you're in a rural area, I feel like it's easier to organize in because there's actual land and there's like resources like the earth, or everything's been concreted over in a city. So I feel like that's there is a benefit to being out there where people are sitting on a huge piece of grass.
Yeah. Some of the people that come up here, you know, like there's all kind of different people. There's like this group from Colombia who also like they do farming in Atlanta, and this is something that you'll hear a lot. Like, I guess for where they cut down all the trees in fucking for Cop City, like so now like there's a lot more water, like shit's getting flooded more. Like, have you guys heard about this? Like,
Yeah.
So basically, like, there's all this land that they did have. Anyways, yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely the urban areas will be destroyed by the abundance agenda. But no, I think that the thing that I really did realize is that like it wasn't such a focus on politics as it were, but as a like more like the appreciation of like, I don't know, of community, and like, you know, people are getting a plan together. You know, people are getting a plan together, and it's really interesting to see.
Now it's not doomsday individual preppers. There's communities who are having who are starting to prep, and there's no longer, it's doomsday no longer seems like a silly concept.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's even like I don't know if it's even so much like that. It was just interesting to not be like in a conversation with a bunch of people bitching about tariffs or like egg prices or like whatever the fucking thing was that was this week's fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? And really just like communing and just like talking about
what do we do? I think that's the different conversation. Is not bitching, it's what do we do?
Yeah, it was totally that. It was totally a proactive thing. So that was nice. Now, I don't want to do it every day, and I'm glad I experienced it, and I'm glad not to be around any people again. And
we're counting it as gravy, baby.
Yeah,
that's gravy.
Yeah, it was interesting. What it was. It was nice. It was nice.
Mm-hmm. Did Nessie get to show off her little stilettos and make friends and everything, or were all the goats put away?
No, all the kids come down here and we let them hold chickens and fucking, you know, the garden's everything's doing real well. All the corn and stuff's coming up real good. So everything's like, it's like every year that it happens, like there's like more stuff being built and like more stuff. So it's like, it's really cool. It's really cool to show that off, especially to like people who are, and you know, they're seeing the kids around the goats and stuff like that's real fun too. So it's a good time. It's a good time, but fun. You know, I don't want to.
You're the unofficial petting zoo of Campathon.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Nothing
cute.
has ever made more sense or warmed my heart more. Like, what's DJ up to, Drew? I've heard from him for a while. You know he's running a petting zoo for a campathon. How do you get into that? I'm not even sure he did. Like, I don't think he got into it. He just, there's just kids on his lawn petting his animals.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's also really cool because, like, again, like some of these people are like legit farmers, like legit, like, you know what I'm saying? They're like doing the damn thing. And it's cool to show, to be able to talk to those people and be like, yeah, like what we, and then be like, yeah, that's fucking, yeah, fuck yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can be like,
You're looking at your mounds.
Yeah.
Looking at my mounds and being like, damn, dude, it's so crazy to think about like how far we've come. I guess this is just a really cool weekend of like really gratifying in a lot of different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sure, it's nice to get accolades from people who know what the fuck they're talking about. That's always like, some good positive reinforcement. Like, okay, so I'm doing something right. God damn it. And it's just, you know, it's just like if you have a family member compliment you about something that they don't know anything about versus somebody in that field. I always felt that way. Like, you know, if in the context of comedy, it was always like some open micer thinks you're funny versus somebody that you admire thinks you're funny. It's like a big difference.
Right.
And when you're doing that with growing food, I think that's rad.
Yeah.
What, Drew? Why are you laughing at me? Because I make everything.
I see how you can always tell when someone doesn't care that you think they're funny. And
Yes.
I was thinking about the same thing happening to DJ in the farmer world. You know what I mean? Like somebody walked up to DJ, is like, God damn, man, those mounds are fire. And DJ's like, okay, buddy, whatever. And I was like, what you
Yeah,
deal with shit last year, Charles? So what the fuck does that mean to me? And Charles telling me my mounds are good. I know my mounds are good. Dog, why don't you get out there and till a little bit? I heard your wife cheated on you. She's been hugging people in the barn.
Playing sport.
Till well. I saved a snapping turtle. What? Across the road. He was definitely going to get splatted, that road we were on, because it was like over a hill. I almost hit him. And I was trying to look on the internet how to do it because I know there's a rule and I couldn't remember what it was, but I was so remote. It was in between my parents' house and where I live now. There was just no service. So I just got one of Roscoe's toy shovels and just like scooped his ass across the road and set him on his way. But I came back through that way later that day and there was no dead turtle and I didn't see him. So I think he was fine. I sent him the direction he was facing, but I couldn't get him to then turn and face that same direction because he kept trying to fight me. Snapping turtles are my heart. That motherfucker tried so hard to break that toy off in my hand. There was no recognition of help. You see those like videos of like, and then the dolphin came back and thanked the fisherman for getting his pregnant wife out of the net. That's never happened with a snapping turtle. A snapping turtle has never, ever felt gratitude in its life towards a human anyway, and it was awesome, dude. Right. And the rule is don't pick him up by the tail. Sorry, what you were doing?
Oh, I was just doing an impression of the turtle. Please, by all means, don't pick him up by the tail.
The rule is don't pick him up by the tail, and I did not break that rule. It's very tempting to pick him up by the tail. It's very long, and you're afraid of them snapping at you, so it's like an obvious way to keep their mouth away from your body.
Oh, okay. But can't you just grab them by the shell? They can't get all the way around. You just grab them to the back end of the shell?
They cannot. If you grabbed them by the back of the shell, they could not probably get around to you, but it does feel like more dangerous. You are closer to their mouth. Like I have to acknowledge you're closer to their mouth.
Gotcha. I feel like a tail.
Claws, dude.
Oh,
they do have claws. Because I think they're technically, is it terrapin? I think they're terrapins, and terrapins have claws.
Half bear, half turtle.
Yeah, they're half cat.
Well, you know what, Drew? I thank you on behalf of
you're
the
welcome.
turtle.
Yes.
Hey, listen, maybe his wife just cheated on him or something.
He was trying to end it all. Yeah, that's why he was mad. Motherfucker, I know I'm about to get ran over.
I say
Jerry,
what
man.
I know. I say what
Had
I
to leave the
know.
pond. But no, I'm glad the turtle wasn't grateful. It was the best part of my day. It was just like, this dude's being this dude, man. You know, I like turtles that know who they are. I just remember this guy my mom used to work with at the gas company. I don't know what his job was there, you know, blue collar type shit. My mom works in the office, but I know he would come and hang out with the ladies in the office every chance he got, and he talked nonstop. And I just remember one of the things he said was something to the effect of, "Yeah, that's the best athlete to ever graduate from P Ridge. P Ridge fighting terrapins. Only won 2 games my whole career." That's not a real school. That's not a real place. This dude never played any sport. He just was always lying for fun. And I just remember the P Ridge fighting terrapins.
I miss that. I miss being able to lie for fun.
That's
I think he knew everyone knew.
What, DJ?
That's a great one to come off the fucking dome, though, if he just fucking was spitting like that. Or maybe that was something worse, but P. Ridge fighting fucking terrapins, buddy. God damn, that's solid.
Doesn't that fire you up?
That's solid. That is solid.
Don't that almost make you want to play like defensive back?
Yeah. I would like to be part of P. Ridge's varsity.
Yeah. Imagine the jacket, dude.
So rad. So rad.
You have terrapins on the back spelled wrong.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome.
Your the stripes would just be the sideways Monster Energy logo.
That's great. Great. You don't see those much around here anymore. Rare. Here, do you guys see them a lot? A lot of monster
What,
stuff.
Letterman jackets?
No monster. I don't even think.
Oh yeah. They got like
the
70 others. They've got so many other new flavors now. Maybe you don't know you're seeing them.
No, the logo.
It's not the black can with the green logo anymore. It's like they're all one color, and it's like white, electric blue. There's a watermelon one. Maybe I'm thinking of a different brand. Maybe I'm thinking of Rockstar, but I'm 99% sure Brian drinks Monsters when we work out.
Man, but okay.
That's wild.
You see the stencils on everything, and the cars, and the
that's faded.
Like, yeah, that's gone. Right? Nobody's doing.
The only thing that remains are the tattoos, and buddy, they are your time. Have you ever seen that viral video? I think the lore is that it's 2 dudes in a very redneck polycule, but they're back to back. They both have Monster Energy tattoos on their arm. This is not fake. This sounds like a sketch, but it is not. Trust me, if you see it, no one's that good. And they're like, "Oh, you would have messed with me? This is my alpha," or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like hitting their fists, and they weigh 125 pounds because every dude who's ever gotten a Monster Energy tattoo is either super fat or the skinniest white man you've ever seen in your life.
That's true.
What?
Well,
I've never seen a medium build monster. That's true.
What that was like a hell. That's some crazy, like, talk about pushing a substance on, like, you want to talk about just like a brand in and out, like a lifestyle on people. Like, how weird
it's like Salt Life. It was like Salt Life, but it was fucking but it was an energy drink.
Right. It's an energy drink. It's so weird how they were making
it makes sense, dude.
and like push that. Huh?
it makes sense though. I mean, I'm not like, oh, it's obvious. I know it's not obvious, but like, it makes sense that it was like. So there was a time in America. I think the internet people know this now. All right, perfect example. You were talking about Trillbillies when they canceled Roseanne's second show. I think Tom said, "That's fine. I get why they did it, but please understand, we're getting 8 more years of Cops." Well, there was a demographic of people, and a lot of brands recognize this, of like, they're not represented at all but they're spending the most money in certain areas, certain places, like the fucking gas station. You know what I mean? Like a big legacy. The Coca-Cola Bears ain't selling shit at the gas station. The people who get on the subway and go to work in their fucking Armani suit and backpack, yeah, they're not drinking Monster, but they only represent a very small portion of the population. So
Right.
I'm just saying, Mountain Dew was taking off at the time. Mountain Dew was starting to do the X Games shit and all that extreme Mountain Dew. It as a matter of fact, Surge was an attempt by Coke explicitly to take some of the Mountain Dew money. And they failed for a variety of reasons. But their whole thing was like, you know, Surge and loud and big. Monster just got it right. Monster was like, no. I know you think it's X Games and skateboarding, but the only reason, that's just because people break their legs sometimes. We need fucking monster trucks. We need Eagles. We need rock and roll. We need titties.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a friend of mine that works in marketing, and that's like what it is. She's like, a lot of times we just need something to sell to conservatives because they're paying the most money.
Dude.
So it's like,
I have a friend up here who owns one of these movie theaters. We have like these, and I mean, it's just a small rinky-dink movie theater, been around since the fucking 70s, at least 80s, probably late 70s, 80s. But they're able to have movies come up here to the mountain, you know what I'm saying? Which is like new movies, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be able to sell a single ticket if it wasn't for all these fucking Christian movies coming out. Like the Christian movies are, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
We need a Christian energy drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rise.
I've always wondered if that was like a subtle Red Bull thing, the Red Bull gives you wings thing. I didn't know if that was kind of like an attempt.
But that's very Catholic coded. The Red Bull thing is very European Christian. We need balls to the wall, Jesus with abs. I'm thinking something with a, you know, he is risen, like risen, rise, something on the, you know, NAILZ.
RIZE? Yeah.
Rise is good. On the third day we rise.
That's great.
NAILZ would be pretty good. NAILZ with a Z too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Give me a can of NAILZ.
NEIGHLZ.
Yeah.
Nothing feels good as, oh dude, first flavor DJ, Blood of the Lamb.
Yeah, Blood of the Lamb.
Strawberry
out of this world cola. Yeah, Blood of the Lamb is great.
Oh no, it'd be cherry. You have to do cherry.
There you go. There's nothing better than the love of Jesus, but NAILZ comes in second.
Yeah.
And then that's like, we'll get you to church on time. Come on now. Come on now.
Money.
I know.
Finally, an energy drink you can feel good about giving to your children.
Right. And like all that just goes with, who are we? Are we the consulting company? Because I don't want to be involved in the making. It's fun.
You know, we'd be consulting. Like that's like literally what they do. These companies don't know what to do. Huh?
Call your friend right now. He did. I got you here on the podcast. I know you have a serious life, but we want to make a Christian energy drink. Like, oh, we're already working on that. Sorry. We call it NAILZ.
Yeah. Mark says it's filtered with holy water. So we just
there you go.
That's good. That's good. But Mark's also bringing a Northeast sensibility to this. That's Catholic coded. I'm telling you guys.
What if it's just like baptismal water? That could be from anywhere, right?
Yeah. Well, no, maybe it's just like with a blessed,
Yeah.
you know, Mhm.
Blast.
And then
Bless
we'll come in
blast.
with a calming.
Blueberry blessed blast.
Ooh.
Come on
And then
now,
we will,
because you gotta have the
we'll
red, white, and
we'll
blue
do it.
flavors. So
Alright.
we have the blood of the lamb, blessed
Yes.
blast blueberry, and now what's the white
Yes.
one? We gotta have the whole holy white, holy ghost, Holy
Maybe something with
Spirit.
angels, maybe.
Mmm.
Angel
Heather.
wing white. I don't know. Like, what flavor is white? Coconut. That's a divisive flavor.
It is. No, you could just do a lemon lime. You could do a lemon lime white.
Yeah.
You know, like Mike's Hard Lemonade. That shit looks cloudy. Same shit. I'm sure we could get Mike's Hard Lemonade sans booze.
Mm-hmm. We could just call it White Powerade. After we lock that in and we market it and we're blowing up, we're gonna come out with a calming drink,
Mhm.
you know, for bedtime, and we're gonna call it Water in the Wine Down.
Ooh, okay.
Very good. Very
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess it's grape flavored. Right?
Ah.
We're gonna go with grape, I think, on that one. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other flavor. Yeah, I mean it
Red
makes
Bull gives
sense.
you wings, but wings are gay. We don't do that. Nails won't make you gay. Are you tired of gay energy drinks making you do gay stuff? Have we talked about that on here? If there was a pill that'd make you gay for like 5 hours, dude, I would have used that.
Yeah.
What?
Would you not, Carmen?
Is there's a pill that made you gay for 5 hours?
Would you not take it?
I don't
Carmen's like,
know.
yeah, I already took it. It's called MDMA, and
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it's Molly, right?
he would be spiking their friends' drinks with it. Oh, dude, you mix that. You take 2 of the gay pills with the Angel Wing White, the White Powerade, buddy. You'd only be gay for white people, I guess.
I mean, I think they already were, right? If they were already racist, you think the Powerade would have the power to compel them? Sorry. We're having fun here, guys.
Man, we should come up with Christian products, like just a whole line of them, and just see what sticks. Because I'm not going to say they're the easiest people to trick. I'm going to say they're the easiest people in the world to trick. Because not only do they like spend in droves, in the South specifically, they're convinced no one cares about them, and they're very upset about this. That's why, like, when the Christian movie comes out up on the mountain, everyone goes and sees it. It's not just because they're like, we don't let our kids watch. You let them watch Marvel, but you just think that somebody did this for you, so you go. And I mean, in some ways, it's a beautiful thing. Like, oh, someone's doing what I like. Let's go support them. I think we could just come up with 10 Christian products. I think 4 to 5 of them would be successful. That's what I'm trying to get at. We're having fun with NAILZ, but I really think we could do it.
This feels like the Norman Greenbaum effect, is what I call it. When Norman Greenbaum had that famous song that came out, and the song was a joke. The song was a bit. He was like, Christian music is the easiest music to make, and it's the most easy to make successful. I bet you I can make a hit, as a joke. And he writes the song, when I die and they lay me to rest, gonna go to the place that's the best.
Oh, I love
when
that
I
song.
lay me down. It's been in so many movies. When I lay me down to die.
What's his name?
Norman Greenbaum.
That's Spirit of the Sky. I thought that was something Sly and the Family Stone.
No.
That's awesome.
That song was a bit making fun of Christians, and then it went to number 1 almost immediately in like record time, and then he had to play that song everywhere so he could make even more money.
There's a big argument in the country world that Okie from Muskogee was like that.
Ooh.
Like it's a very like I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee. And it's like we don't like beer, we don't like pot, and Merle Haggard is who sang it, wrote it, was like drinking and getting high every day.
Mhm.
But then other people were like, no, it wasn't like satire as much as it was like, he was just a hypocrite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. He cashed in. That's my point. Is we could make nails as a bit, and then get rich off of these people.
dude,
Did you come
Liquid
up with
Death
small
was started by a comedy club owner's son, and one of the reasons Liquid Death, you maybe told me this, Carmen. Did you?
I did tell you this. Yeah.
Well, let's get a hold of her. Call both your
Oh my
friends.
God.
Carmen, you got all the friends. We got the ideas. DJ's
Man.
a spokesperson.
I just thought about this too, because two different things. When a new Christian movie comes out, like you'll see all the Christian bands up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they'll take the whole fucking church to come up here and see the new whatever movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daily Wire, whatever. I don't know. I don't even know. I see the names of them, but I don't know what the fuck they are. And so then they'll hold hands and they'll pray before they go into the movie. But
At least one of them silently hoping somebody shoots it up. But sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I'm sure. So this weekend, they were having, it's so crazy. I can't believe it's a big Mountain Dew giveaway at the Walmart. Right? Dude. It was absolute pandemonium. Okay, you get your dew outside, you know what I'm saying? Got the big dew truck, big dew everything, you know what I mean? Then you go inside, they're giving people cupcakes and shit. I mean, dude, it was fucking, I don't know what the fuck
Pandemonium.
Yeah, pandemonium. Yeah, dude. I'm just sitting here thinking, man, we put up a goddamn NAILZ fucking truck somewhere, dude. God damn, dude. Just raise nails, I guess. Raise the nails, dude. Raise the nails, baby.
Raise Dale, raise nails, dude.
Yeah.
We could get one of those big tow trucks, but the kind that has the thing on the back that looks like a cross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A certain
yeah.
type where that's the apparatus, and we could paint that up and put a Jesus on it, but instead of being like bleeding and looking like a pussy, he's fucking hard as nails.
Yeah, he's shredded. We're
Then
gonna
we
have
come out with
shredded
alcohol
Jesus.
later when we heel turn. We come out with an alcohol. Now we got hard nails.
Yeah.
Hard nails.
Like,
Yes.
and we put Viagra and alcohol in it.
It's where, yeah. Oh my God, this is gonna be as bad as Poor Loco.
Which was very successful.
What is the desire to like? Is it like is it almost brand loyalty? Because it is bizarre, right? I mean, that they would go out.
What's your question specific?
That if you put out a Christian fucking drink, right?
I'm telling you, they feel like the devil is
It's another way to give it to the church.
and they're persecuted. And so seeing like it's like you're fighting a battle. It's not just that like we agree. It's like, oh, thank God, my money can go to someone who's also helping us overcome how we're persecuted. So it's not just
really
like,
but it's just reinforcing it, right? Though, honestly.
but it's not just like this movie is Christian and I agree with that and I can show it to my kids. That is part of it. But it's also like, and those other movies are against me. There's an agenda inside those other movies. They are trying to make my kids trans. So dude.
Yeah, it's a way to fight back against the agenda that's specifically after them, which has nothing to do with them.
Dude. Yep. And it's like, it's a little
Fight the power.
It's a little rainbow. It's a little opposite of the rainbow. There's a little bit of like, and we've talked about this before. We're not the first people to do it either, but it's like, I am glad Nike gave Colin Kaepernick a fat contract because I do think he was standing up to a large fucking class of billionaires and trying his best in his own little way to make a point. But at the same time, I wasn't going to run and buy Nike because it's like the slave shoes.
Yeah.
You know, like that, you know,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? And it's the same
Mhm.
thing. There are people collecting fat fucking checks, probably also with last names like Greenbaum, on these Christian movies.
Yeah. 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 No doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
I think it's also because there's it's like record numbers of attendance, low attendance too, overall. So then they also feel like a marginalized group.
But yeah,
So
I've
there's
been
that.
talking about that for years. They are the most powerful people in their world, but they've
Mhm.
convinced themselves that they are the least powerful people in their country. And I mean, the GOP went after him under that auspice. I mean, the silent majority, that was the shadow of it. The whole campaign of the silent majority was, hey, I know you guys don't know it, but we represent the majority and we just got to do what's right. But like the dark side of that was like, you're just acknowledging we are actually in control. But if we
Yeah.
feel like a victim, I mean, dude, this was also what every anti-cancel culture comedian was tapping into. 100%. Dave Chappelle went on stage in Austin during the pandemic and was like, y'all are brave for being here. They don't, he got on Netflix and said, they don't want me to say this. Andrew Schultz, viewed from the cis. I mean, dude, fucking Tim Dillon told me in person as he was like, kind of well before he was blowing up, like, everyone here in this city, we were in New York, thinks that they're the tastemakers. And they do get to decide what's on TV, but they don't get to decide what's popular. I'm going to go for middle America. And buddy did he.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when he's on CNN doing a bit, Jesus Christ. Did you
Dude.
see that?
I loved it.
Wild.
I straight up loved it. Listen, it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
It was
and
to me,
CNN
that was like
deserved-
some Windy City Heat shit where they didn't know that they were in a bit.
It was Tim Dillon versus a lady on heroin. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking.
Yeah. She and CNN deserved every bit of that. That was very bad for America.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah. It was a
But,
spectacle, but it was very harmful for sure.
Well,
But
yeah,
I think
man. I think two things. They weren't talking about the same thing, and they were not. They were like, I think they met some common ground, but they were like when Tim Dillon's like focusing on the establishment and what that is, and he made a few good points, except for the fact that like y'all are literally like, whether you know it or not, like, the CIA. I mean, like, dude, like, I don't know who.
Oh, buddy, the whole time I was watching, I wish DJ was doing this interview.
Oh, yeah.
We're just like, we're just sitting there to chime in so he could be like, yeah, but Joe Rogan's in the CIA, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like, that's what I really
He doesn't
wanted.
have to know.
By the way,
it
he's
to be
going to church now.
Dude, listen, whatever they want to do that helps them, look, they got a big old bunker down there. You know what I'm saying? With the goddamn shit is.
It's also, do you remember when A24 Civil War came out and everyone's like, the movie was awesome, but it was so stupid to make California and Texas the allies. And now we're just watching it happen. We're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's weird. Weird.
They're trying to turn California because of the GDP. I mean, we make the most fifth largest in the world, dog. California state makes fifth the most money in the entire world, GDP wise.
Also, let's just say Gavin Newsom, pretty Republican.
I'm saying everybody acts like he's this fucking libtard, and I was like, have you listened to the man talk?
He's
It's a smart city.
absolutely nothing. And this is like working for him right now because he's also watching Tim Dillon's CNN interview.
Right.
He is a nothing.
Yeah.
I just want to make one last point about all that. I remember being young and like at a PTA meeting or some kind of thing, my mom like brings me because we don't have a babysitter. And I remember being like 12. I very vividly remember this. And like everyone talking about how we're not allowed to pray in school, and that's what's going to fix it if we bring prayer back, and Christians are persecuted. This was not a Christian event. We were not at church. And I remember like watching the Christians say this to the Christian principal and the Christian mayor about how the Christians don't have any power, and just being like, what do, like, as a child, be like, what do they mean? And I asked my mom about it. Like, I was like, hey, how come they said Christians don't have any good power, but like everyone there was Christian? And she was like, oh, they mean in the world. And I didn't say this, but I thought to myself, we were in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
That feeling, that like weird paradox.
Yeah.
Of that is, to me, that explains all of this.
On a psychology level, I feel it's though, because you read that story about them being persecuted, which is so wild to me that this is their takeaway from it, because it should be making you have empathy for other people who are being persecuted in the world, but instead it's just only instead it's only them who can feel persecution, and only them who are always being persecuted. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta work.
I mean, while you have the most money, you have the most influence, you have the most ability, like, because you're not influencing film and entertainment specifically.
Yeah,
boy,
because you can't ethically cleanse all of the things that your children watch.
What we've got to work.
Makes you feel persecuted and powerless.
You're right in there. You're right in the psychology. And on that note, we have to work in some sort of anti-empathy aspect to NAILZ. Right. Like, it's very important that people believe I don't know if you could say empathy, because they don't like.
Well, no, they've weaponized it now. Now empathy is for the devil.
So we got to like work something in there about, like, it'll make you impervious to the fake cries of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did y'all see any of Jordan Peterson getting persecuted?
Oh, by that young kid about the debate circle?
Yeah.
Woo. I don't know what but I can't wait to watch it and put it right in my mouth. I hate
people that shit on young people don't fucking know any young people. I swear to God.
They don't.
Because these kids are they're doing their own research. They are doing their own research.
They got nothing else to do.
Exactly.
They like, what are they supposed to do? Go to college? They got AI.
They can't afford it
for them.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, I'm about to go watch that unless I have to go back to work. They paused my work.
If you could find like just a highlight reel, I wouldn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's really long.
And they've also changed the name of it. By the way, they've also changed, when it first came out, it was like 20 atheists versus one Christian, but now it's 20 atheists versus Jordan Peterson, because of what ends up happening in there.
Yeah, the Christians are like, that Canadian dude, he's queer.
Yeah, I honestly think it would be fucking. That would be what I would be most interested in to watch. Would be 20 Christians versus Jordan Peterson instead of 20 atheists.
Yeah,
20 Christians, because the answers that he gave, which I don't know, and to be honest with you, I don't care. I just hate him. You know what I'm saying? I used to love him when I smoked a lot of meth.
Well, he's poisoned a lot of the men of our country.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
There's plenty of reason to hate him.
But I think after that, he's going to probably go on a nice little be back on the bench.
Probably.
Yeah.
You got to get stands the fuck out.
I think he's going to pray when he gets home, DJ? Do you think he prayed after he got home to save him from the backlash that's going to happen?
I don't know what.
Maybe he'll go clean his room.
Yeah. That's what he need to do. That boy needs to he needs to get to fucking.
When he was eating vegetables and Xanax bars, he was okay.
Yeah, he was fine, right? Yeah. When I was like super.
When he stayed in his lane.
I loved him.
I said when he stayed in his lane, he was fine.
Yeah. Dude, there was like that weird time, like right before he came out, like when he was starting to build up, and then he made that he went totally crazy about the trans people, and that was when I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But there was a moment.
Oh no, we lost you audio wise. Did something change or move?
Oh.
Well, we get an hour anyway.
1 hour.
Comedian gone farmer gone mime. DJ Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys watch the YouTube so you can see what happened. I mean, it's there, it's just real quiet. Producer Mark, can you still hear him? I just couldn't hear him at all.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
You just sound super distant all of a sudden. Yeah.
It's fine.
But can you just say it loudly so I can hear what you had to say at your point about Jordan Peterson? Go ahead.
Whenever I think if he could just like, I don't know, it was the money and stuff, right? Obviously it was. I was gonna make a think about how I would watch the stuff and be like, damn, he's right. He's right about single mothers, like fucking how hard it is for them, right? Then he would come with some like fucking bullshit. It's the same thing that happened to Alex Jones. You know what I'm saying? Once you get so far down the road, it's just you're fucking gone. And then it's like, what do they call it? Audience capture.
Yeah.
20 microphones versus one farmer.
But I think, yeah, there is. I mean, I call it's the RFK effect. 1 out of the 30 things he said is correct.
Right. 100%. Yeah. Fuck him forever.
Oh, you're back. There you go. No, you're back. You're back. Sound wise.
Yeah, fuck him forever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it would have been. Where else was he gonna go? What else was he gonna do? Yeah, pseudo intellectualism only had one.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like it only had one. That's all. That's all that's ever gonna happen.
That comedian Tyler Fisher is now calling Fox News woke because he got kicked off Fox News for like, molesting somebody or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's all he's got. He's got one note. He had to turn it on them. I'd be pissed if he didn't. I'd be furious if Tyler Fisher wasn't telling me Fox News is woke.
Right.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be like a whole woke right. And who are the
What?
Yeah.
What?
Guys, I gotta go, and I'm definitely gotta go. We're gonna have to hear about the woke right.
That's what's great about this term. You know what this feels like? This feels like terrorism in the early 2000s, where everything was just getting painted as terrorism.
That's all. If you want to keep your grip, you have to say woke. If anybody shows any bit of compassion or anything that's not like that straight, it's like you have to call them woke. You have to, like, if it's any kind of empathy, any kind of anything like that, oh, you're a fucking big pussy woke fucking agenda. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you don't think we should give billions of dollars to Ukraine and fucking Israel?
Got it.
What?
NAILZ, wake up with no woke.
Ooh, that's fire. That's fire.
This is easy, dude. What the fuck? We've been doing it wrong the whole time. This is so easy.
Yeah.
And it's harmless because unlike the other stuff, like politics, you're not hurting the other side. You're not hurting trans people by selling transphobes energy drinks. I mean, you're probably helping them because you're going to eventually give them a heart attack. I am changing my entire business model.
Then you start a nonprofit. Then we started NAILZ nonprofit, and then you low key do anonymous donations to all of these trans organizations, like donating to trans youth, all this other shit, and you just have a shell company do it, so then they don't find out that you're the one doing it. And I'm just saying, it feeds itself.
You just wait for them to find it and go,
I mean, that's true. I mean, that's what happened with Norman Greenbaum. He was like, I already got your money. So you were a bit.
What are you gonna do?
Well, and
What do you got to do?
then when the internet finds out, then we just sell to the rainbow folk. And by rainbow folk, I don't mean gay people. I mean people who like buying rainbow stuff. We go, and Mark already said in the chat that eventually it'll be revealed that all of our colors just make the rainbow.
You're right. That's
Yep.
awesome. It's the right
All
direction.
right. Well, next week we'll bring you White Powerade, sponsored by the NAILZ.
Jump in the Discord tonight. We're talking conspiracies tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, but tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah.
May 30th. That is tonight. That is Friday, May 30th. Join the Discord. Make sure you guys get in there for conspiracy babies.
Yeah.
You guys are talking about what you said, cathars? What is it?
Cathars. I'm hoping somebody.
Cathars.
I'm hoping somebody explains it to me.
Catheters.
'Cause I'm interested, and I haven't had time to actually get into it. So I'm hoping they brain rot me. And it's really good.
I have
It's
to
like
go.
30 minutes of
I
like,
love you guys.
all right,
Love you too, bud.
it's like the conspiracy. Be honest, there's probably around 30 minutes of a conspiracy, and then another 30 minutes of just yelling into the void. So just whatever. So even if you're not into the conspiracy, come and shake your
It's
fist.
still cathartic. The cathars are cathartic. So join the Discord tonight if you like to listen to this right when it comes out. At patreon.com/gravybabypod for throw some money at us. Keep it going. We do have a plan for a poetry reading coming up, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Doing some David Duchovny poetry and some what was it? Crispin Glover. Some Crispin Glover poetry.
Hey, somebody said that you get a hold of Crispin Glover, and here's the thing: is like I don't know that I necessarily I love him, but like when it's a figure like that, and especially like how my brain works, like I don't know how you do this, but like when it's symbolism and when it's metaphor and when it's like all this other stuff, I just like my brain. I don't need to know what it's really about. Like it freaks me out when somebody can see like a racer head and be like, oh, well, this is a movie about a guy who's like scared to have a family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that freaks me out. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, that's not at all. I was somewhere totally else in there. And like, and that's kind of where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? I want to be at this other place. I don't want to be told what this is. I just want to create. I want my own head to do it. You know what I mean?
Well, that was supposed to be the point of art.
Right?
For you to interpret it, to be interpreted by the viewer.
Right.
It wasn't always, that's why so many artists were like, oh, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. I want you to infer it. I want you to take from it whatever you will. That's why it's so annoying when people watch stand-up and they'll go, did that really happen? It doesn't fucking matter if it really happened.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Makes no
What you
difference.
get from it.
Makes no difference. Nothing.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, nothing is nothing.
Nothing is nothing, man.
Nothing from nothing is nothing.
Right.
You gotta have nothing.
Yeah.
If you want to be free. Okay, I'm gonna stop singing. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I am gonna feed these goats.
Feed those babies.
I will. Have a great show.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
You could stick a whole ribeye in one of your back pockets. Like,